It's not 2 a.m., but it's always a good time to have my next guest in studio. This is BHL's Next.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey. Right?
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
I'd be like...
You get the shoulders up. Hey.
Guys, what's up? This is BHL's Next. I'm your host, Rhelin T. I have an R&B genius, basically.
Oh man, okay now.
No, I have an R&B I got this is R&B.
I would say I am an R&B connoisseur.
Connoisseur?
Yeah,
it's
what I do.
Adrian,
It's what I do. You know, it's what I do. It's what I love. It's just kind of like embedded in me. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Adrian Marcel is in the studio. BHL's Next. You see, I teased 2 a.m. a little bit, you know, in that cold open.
I see that. I did notice that.
You know, because that was such a huge song.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not going to dwell on it too much because you have done so much post 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But when that song dropped, I was in college, acting up, way before the city girls put a stamp on it. And you know, on my way driving here today, I thought about one time you actually did get on Instagram and you were asking people, drop your college campus if you want me to.
Yeah. We still on that hype too.
I was thirsty. Yo, I was like, Cal State Fullerton.
Make sure you come stop by here real quick though, you know. Yeah, for sure.
I was like really into it. No, because this song is such, at least for this generation, I want to say, a nostalgic party anthem.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You know, to be completely honest with you, I didn't like the record.
That's what I was going to get into. Because I didn't want to dwell on it, but I wanted to say that a lot of times when these artists come out with these huge singles, I often wonder, was this the true sound of Adrian Marcel?
That's the energy it needs. I think it just needed that energy. For me, I didn't care for the record. It wasn't my cup of tea. You know what I mean? However, you know, they were so adamant on me, like the people who were part of writing it and producing it. You know, they ended up popping up on me at the studio like, look, we're here, we flew in. You have to at least record the record and let's just see what happens. And before I knew it, I just remember flying into the Bay back home in Oakland. You know, right when the plane's kind of getting close to the ground, my brother called me. I'm like, hello. I'm like, you there? You about to pick me up? He like, yeah, bro, but this new song, bro, slap, bro, this the one. I'm like, what new song? You know, and it was 2 a.m. and I was like, yo, and when he said it, it just started a whole wave. And from that point on, like, we went out on tour with Keisha Cole and we performed it. And like, we did about 20 cities with Keisha, and around like the 13th city, you started to like see people singing the song. And then at that point,
and it's all kinds of different people of all different backgrounds,
and
which
that's
I think
crazy
is crazy.
For me. A lot of people, still meet me and still be like, "Oh man, my favorite song is 2 a.m." I'm like, "Well, have you heard any of the other 4 projects?" You know, and they're like,
exactly.
"No, I didn't even know." Like, do me and you a favor and listen to that, you know, because 2 a.m. it's a part of me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
because it's like, as you have said before, it's your claim to fame, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of me. I like to party. I like to kick it, you know what I mean? It's definitely my spirit.
But growing up, or, you know, me, I feel like I've gone on this journey listening to your music, and then we're going to get into, you know, 7 days a week and everything else, but... Yeah, that's your sound.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
You know, you're very R&B.
Yeah.
Infused.
I'm very soulful.
Yes.
I'm it's like I infuse ratchet into like soulful,
and your
classy,
lyricism is different. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's different, not just
it's
having
that
the rat
Oaklandism.
shit.
It's that Oaklandism slang. You know, we know how to say some not so respectful stuff, you know, pretty respectfully, if that makes sense.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But that's crazy. So we know that Saja Gemini, another Bay Area native, is on this track as well. When you go back home, how often do you connect with these emerging artists from the Bay or this Bay sound that we know to love?
Just to be completely honest, I've just more recently started to branch out and work with more artists like that, and I think that sometimes it gets misconstrued, like pretentious or something like that, or you know, I don't like to work. And I've always told people, like, it's just very hard to get me in the studio. Not like that, like, I love the studio, but I'm always I'm all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always doing so much, and I'm kind of living life so that I have something to talk about.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's just now becoming something of mine. It's like, yo, I'm reaching out to more of like the newer artists, the younger artists and stuff. That's like, yo, let's all get in. You know, let's all get in and you know, bounce off vibes.
Yeah.
You know, bounce
it's
off vibes.
Interesting. I feel like the Bay Area, you guys have an old school feel, but like a new twist on the old school. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even like when you look at artists, another Bay Area artist, Kehlani, when you listen to her music, you know that soulful is so it's so old school, that type of feel, but it's just a new twist.
Especially when they really from the town.
Yeah.
You know, Kehlani really from the town. We went to high school together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you get a certain type of feel from people from the Bay. You know what I mean? And especially Oakland. Yeah. You know, and I'm not trying to, you know, exclude nowhere else, you know, but it's like that's just what that's where I rep, you know what I mean, the artist. So. And
another person from Oakland that reps you too hard, Raphael Saadiq.
Yeah. Amazing.
And if y'all either too young, too slow to know who Raphael Saadiq is, great songwriter, singer. Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be
basically
big.
your favorite rapper probably been sampled.
Exactly.
This great man.
He set a certain precedence from the town. You know what I mean? And to be quite honest, like I look up to certain people's journey. You know what I mean? Certain artists' journey. And it's not always the ones that are like up front all the time and are always like number one and, you know, popping the most. You know, it's sort of the ones that have figured out this game and figured out how to play it and to figure out how to enjoy it while they play it. You know what I mean? Some people don't realize that they're still playing the game anymore. They've kind of got caught into it. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Inception. Yeah. But the way it is, it's like they're in limbo at that certain point. You know what I'm saying? Like they have fallen so deep into the Kool-Aid that they can't get out. But there are certain artists who understand how to take what they've created and what's been given to them in this game and turn it into other avenues and other like, you know, other seeds that they have planted for different trees, you know what I mean? So that they have more longevity, you know? So I've looked at myself like that type of artist, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not always trying to be number one. I don't need to be number one today because what about next year and the year after that and 10 years from now? You know what I mean? You get older, you got newer, like we just talked about, newer artists coming. You know, how do you make, you know, longevity, you know, out of a short amount of time? You know, so certain artists like Raphael Saadiq, like the Maxwells and things like that have figured out how to do that. And I think it all starts with just making authentic music. Making music that's just completely true to yourself and true to what you do, and that is inspiring other people to do many different things. You know, we can't just, you know, a lot of artists are just inspiring people to go get chains and go get new cars and go make these other millionaires and billionaires more rich, you know, and there's other artists that are out there saying to you, you know, you're gonna get through this day. You know, you're gonna be able to get through. I know you hate your boss. I know you hate your coworkers. I know your kids is getting on your nerves. I know this traffic is killing you. I know that life is hard, but you know what I mean. Smile, laugh. You know what I mean. It's what's the message really about. So artists like Raphael Saadiq, I feel have taught
definitely,
me that.
and have definitely done that for people, culture, everything. One thing that you have said that I thought was really interesting is that, okay, so let's say, you know, I was following your music for a long time, so I'm thinking like, oh, okay, like now you got Raphael Saadiq, all these things are going to happen, right? And it was so interesting. I heard you say that, you know, you could have somebody as legendary as him, but the way that these labels and everything are structured is just so old school. And I look back when I see these actors now, they were almost in the same box as far as, you know, oh, I have to make it to a major network in order for me to really pursue what I want to do. Whereas now they don't have to do that. They can be streamed on Facebook and Netflix and all these different things. And right now in music, a lot of people are going independent, which I know you have done. But what was that transition like, and why do people, do you think, now are still wanting to get that, you know, sign label contract.
I think
even
it's just,
though
I think we've always wanted validation. You know, especially as artists, you want to be valid. You know, that's why people stress about the blue check on their name. You know, on Instagram. You know, you want to be valid in some shape or form. You know, so I think for some artists like myself, we pay a little more attention. You pay a little more attention to the details and the details of the I'm only using this metaphorically, but details of the contract. You know, it says everything that they want you to know in the beginning. So you read that and say, oh, okay, well, that's the amount. That's what I'm working with. All right, cool, sign. But flip the pages a little bit and kind of go into the detail of the terms, you know. And I think for me, it's not about so much the money. It's more about the creative control. It's the freedom, you know. And as artists, that's what we yearn for. Real artists, we yearn to be free. We yearn to create freely. We yearn to release freely. You know what I mean? Like, we want to put our music out now. We want to, you know, put the music out that we feel now, that I'm feeling right now. You know, for me, that transition was very simple because I'm very in tune with just life. You know what I mean? And especially my life. You know.
Yeah.
So I've always taken everything that's ever happened as lessons, you know, and in your time, you know, I didn't go to college. I got accepted. I got, you know, scholarships, all kind of such, but what I wanted to do was different. So I just hit the streets and got to it, you know, and I got the deal, which was, you know, back then the kid in me was like, yo, this is huge. You know, this is it. I'm seeing all my favorite stars and celebrities and such. But then you start to realize that none of that means anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't hold anything for you. You know, it's like, what are you really doing for yourself? Like, what are you leaving? You know? So for me, I wasn't able to give the music out the way I wanted to. It wasn't being pushed the way I wanted it to be.
Yeah,
because
they have strict guidelines on, like, oh, you can only put out this album at this time.
Well, I mean, yeah, because there's so many people involved that have nothing to do with the process. You know what I mean? So, you know, you imagine having this vibe in the studio consistently, like just meeting your favorite people, you vibing in the studio with them, and y'all coming out with dope stuff, and then after that, it's just all downhill because now you're dealing with people who don't care about the music. They don't care about the artist. They care about the money.
Push behind
the
it.
Push, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Is this something I want to push right now? Well, you know, I don't really want to be you know, I don't like that even in dating. You know what I mean? If you got to decide between me and him, go with him. Like, you know, it's good. I'm solid, you know, so by the grace of God, I was just able to walk away, you know, hands free, you know.
Now you have this new label, Third Voice Music Group.
Exactly. And it's funny, I that was something that I started in high school, in 9th grade. I came up with Third Voice Music Group, and then I got it tatted on my arm and when I turned 19. Yeah, I've had this tattoo since I was 19. So it always was a state of mind that I was in, you know, of having my own. And again, just being that kid new to the, you know, wet behind the ears to it, you get sucked in and you start to forget, you know, those things. You start to forget, like, you know, those dreams and those visions that you had and the way you had them, you know. So it took me going through a little bit of time, taking off, stepping back, leaving the labels, leaving managements, and just any contracts in general, period. Just stepping away, getting back to me, you know what I'm saying? Tapping in with family, tapping in with just life and living it. And then truly being prepared and ready to come back and be like, yo, okay, now everything that I dreamed of, I'm making it reality. So Third Voice Music Group is real now. You know, I'm gonna sign myself. I'm gonna partner up with people. I'm gonna build a team of people who are like-minded individuals, you know, in their fields. And why not spend this time? I took 5 years I gave 5 years to the industry under someone else's umbrella. Like, why not do it myself? Like, why not give that same time? You know, it's no different. If I went to school to be a doctor, I'd probably still be in school right now. I'd just be getting in the, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'd just be in there, you know what I'm saying? Like plugging in a little bit, you know what I mean? So it's no different. You know, again, we get caught up in what we think we want, like the jewels and all that. Now, I really want to be a boss. Like the real boss though, not the one that's just calling shots. You know what I'm saying? But I own me. You know what I'm saying? And to get back and teach people how to own themselves. Like, let's all be bosses. That's the way we all be able to coexist together, and everybody got to feel no type of way and feel like, you know, I got to be number one. You are number one in what you do. You know what I'm saying? So for me, independency was just the right move. It's scary. Yeah. You know, for a lot of artists, it's very scary to be independent. You know, you got to fund your own videos.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So being independent is all your own money pushing everything.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's not, you know, there's levels. Yeah. There's definitely levels. Like, you can be technically independent and have an investor. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's, in my eyes, still owing. Still in debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for artists, there's no guarantees on what works and what doesn't. Like we just talked about, 2 a.m. To me, that wasn't gonna work, but it worked. you know. So, you know, for me though, the type of independent that I'm on is like, like from ground up. Like when I watched NWA, I think that was the spark of it for me. Like, seeing that message from Ice Cube and from Dr. Dre and watching Dre say, hey, you know, keep everything, keep it all. I'm starting fresh, because that's how serious in believing in myself and the vision that I am. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the project, my album 98, came from. The whole idea. It's a state of mind of being back to that kid who, you know what I mean, you really couldn't tell nothing, because I'm gonna do what I feel. I'm gonna wear the clothes I want to wear. I'm gonna look how I want to look. I'm gonna act how I want to act. It's because I'm dope and because I'm nice. Yeah. I'm nice at what I do. So for some reason, for whatever reason, which most artists do, we kind of forget how nice we are when we get with that label, because again, that's sort of how we get validated. We get validated by them saying, hey, sign right here. Sign your life away to us. It's like, oh man, I'm validated now. Now I'm good. You know, mama, I made it. And now I can't go nowhere. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So do labels have any say, or is that the reason why, let's say, you know, I go somewhere and we're all listening to the same, you know, Act Up, My Type, it's because these labels are pushing these songs to the radio. So I'm always wondered how come certain songs that I know and love don't make it to radio play.
Well, let's not all put it on, you know, the labels. It's, you know, it's a lot of people at the labels. Like, a label is not like one person stands there and makes a decision. You know, it's a lot of entities, that are there that are not, in my opinion, just not stepping up to the plate. You know, I mean, everybody is just trying to make sure they keeping their job. Everybody's trying to make sure that, you know, they pleasing the founders and the CEOs and such.
Not overspending.
Not overspending, you know, but, you know, living it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's so many different levels to it. It's so many different elements that kind of make it hard. Like, you got all these entities as well trying to be, I guess, the stars as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no definition of a star anymore. Like, you can't say this is a star. That's not, like, no. A Uber driver could be a star. Uber driver, like, you know, today. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a lot of different elements, I feel, that go into it. But when it comes to, like, your favorite songs and why they don't come out, I just feel like, you know, it's a catch-22, because on one end, you know, you do need people there that are saying, look, you like this song. Look, this is a certain type of song that only a certain type of people are gonna like. You know, this is not gonna appeal to the masses. However, you just lost the honor and the dignity in those people that call those shots. Like, you know, the managements and the A&Rs and such, like, you know, they're not really looking at it from a aspect of being out there and seeing what people need rather than what they want. So everybody is trying to give people what they want. What do people want? The last thing that was hot. So if you got City Girls that's hot, now the idea is, okay, well, let's go find 3 or 4 girls, you know, and we're going to make them even more ratchet. Yeah. Or we're going to make them even more this or even more that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but let's keep this tone. And that was one of the reasons I had a problem with 2 a.m. at the time, because in my opinion, 2 a.m. was paranoid.
I was supposed to say 2014, that era was just
that was the era. Yeah. And it would get so frustrating when people would be sending me music, or when I would be, you know, placed in the studio with other people, and they would be playing 2 a.m. type
the
stuff.
Whole T-Fly type.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, where are the real snares and the, you know what I mean? Like, I want some feel. You know what I mean? But it's like, I get it. I definitely get it. I understand. It's a money making business. Like, you know what I mean? You have to play the game and what makes money. But I just feel like what's really just missing is those people who are willing to hang their,
sacrifice for their
hang their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yo, y'all tripping. I don't care what y'all think. This is the record because X, Y, and Z, and it feels like this, and da-da-da, and we gonna push it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so in my position, I look at it like, well, hey, I'm at the best place I can be to do that. I'm still doing numbers. I'm still doing high streams. I'm still, I still go places. People still know who I am. It's like, and the beautiful thing about it is from the music that I put out, it hasn't put me in a position to say, well, oh, he's fell off. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference from falling off and we just ain't heard nothing. Yeah. Like, what's going on? I would rather you not see no shots unless they going in. Unless they just like, every time it's like, yo, this album is dope. Right, I'd rather it be that. So if it take a little more time, cool. But if it takes time because I'm funding it, because I'm behind the division, creating it, all of that, then I'll take that. I'll take that time because that freedom is what's most important at the end of the day. And them labels, they, if you allow them to, they will have you locked up. Yeah. If you allow them, and I don't want it to sound like that I'm just anti-label. Nah, it's a machine. It's money. It's a way to get it done. However, are you working for them or is it a partnership? Yeah. For real,
That's crazy. Yeah. So let's get into 98. Yeah. Dropped in May. Yeah. 2 days after your birthday. Yeah. Was that intended?
You know what? It wasn't. We planned on releasing this album in February.
Really? Yeah, because you dropped Slow Burn
in February. Yeah. Yeah, and we planned on releasing it in February. And the whole thing with the album was not, I wasn't on like promotion like that. I wasn't on like, yo, we got to go hard as hell on promotion and kill it. No, I just needed people to know it's new music. And I needed it to be there so that eventually when you go back around real quick, because I have the type of music that brings you back to my page and brings you back to my stuff, you're gonna see, oh, wait a minute, what's this? And still every day people are like, I didn't even know 98 was out. Oh, I got my soundtrack for the next 3 months. Right, there we go. You know what I'm saying? So for me it was like, okay, I don't want to release it like right after I just released the single. Like I feel like when I put Slow Burn out, people just kind of like were like, wait a minute, wait, what, you doing it again? Like you back again, So
you took like what, a 2 year?
It took like a 2 year break, like of me not doing it, and that was really just me being clear everything. That was me sitting back and getting in the studio and like we spoke earlier, just finding the vibe, like figuring out. What was I talking about? Like, what was going on? Yeah. So I had to live some life. I had to go through some things so that I could come back and be like, okay, now this is what I want to do. And on top of that, before I released anything, I wanted to make sure that it was legit. Like, Third Voice Music Group is real. So before the music, let me handle this business. Let me get all these things in order. And then when it came out and people took to it, it was like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't rush this that quick. And then on top of that, there were other things like the Barge movie that I ended up doing. That came into place. It was like, well, they're going to be doing promotion. Why don't we just
Speaking about that, how many times did you get that reference that you look like you were part of
that's been on my career.
Life, right?
That's been on my career. That's been on my career. You know what's dope about me? Like, I used to think it was like a flaw. I used to get mad at it, but I understand it now. I look like a lot of people in different times, different things, different ways, Yeah. And it's dope because it just, for me, it's all people who are like, established and people who have done some great things. So when I used to get El DeBarge, comparison and stuff, I always looked at it like, well, life, God is funny, life is funny, nothing happens for no reason. So you're not calling me, Elvis, you're calling me El DeBarge. All right, he's alive.
And amazing.
I can meet him, and end up meeting him, and look how life worked. I end up meeting him, and then end up being in the actual DeBarge movie. I mean, you got to just kind of take the signs that life throws you and understand them. Like, You know, anytime I've ever been told, oh, you look like so-and-so, I've gotten them all. I've gotten Chris.
No, my mom said Chris. She's like, you know, he looked like Chris
For the
Brown.
longest in school, I would get played because I look like Chris. So shout out to Chris Brown for that. You know what I mean? Got a lot of love off that one. Before there was a Chris Brown, I got Lil Fizz.
Oh my God.
Because I had a ponytail and everything at the time, and I used to wear the Kango.
And then look how full circle you came on the Millennium Tour.
Exactly.
But
Oakland. That's what I'm saying. Just all of these elements that lead up to something bigger than what you can imagine. You know what I mean? So it just felt right. It felt right. But, you know, just like I was saying, just because of that movie, I just felt that, okay, let's push it back a little bit. You know, so we went back and forth. Me and my team went back and forth for a while on it. And I'm going to be honest, it wasn't even I didn't even turn the album in until like a week before it came out.
Wow.
Yeah, so just because it was so many elements to it that I was just, I want to get this done. And then there were features that I had been working on, and I was just like, you know what, forget the features, we'll bring them out later. Let's drop this project. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was really just me taking those first steps. And I heard somebody say that because it might have took longer, they wanted me to push it to June. They wanted me to push it back. And I heard somebody say, the only reason you're not putting out your music, or the only reason you ever say, no, it's not time yet, it's not ready yet, is because you're scared and because you don't believe in it yet. And at that moment I looked at it, I was like, you know what, I don't care what features ain't on here, I don't care what didn't get this, didn't get that, I believe in this, it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's put it out.
And it's so like I said, I appreciate your music because it's so R&B. You know what I mean? Some people always try to say that they're R&B and then they take a turn. I'm like, wait,
it's like I'm R&B, and then you be like, boy, you pop as hell. Like, what are you talking about?
Hella pop.
You hella pop. Like, yeah, nah. I'm for real R&B. You know what I mean? Like, again, another tap that's on me, R&B to the bone, that I got in high school. Again, it's just been the music that touches me, music for soul. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Who are some R&B artists that you listen to?
New?
Growing up.
I mean, it's very like widespread. So, you know, Al Green, Maxwell, Frankie Lyman,
wow.
Jackie Wilson, Sam Cooke, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye. More recent, like, you know, the Tank was like very, very, very big for me in high school.
You know what's crazy? That if you look yourself up on like a streaming service, that's who your related artists are.
Really? And that's dope. and that's perfect. I mean, that just shows me that I'm doing what's true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You have a lot of true songwriters as your related artists.
Yeah,
you know?
that's dope. And that's really tight.
That's meaningful.
That's meaningful. And I mean, that's ultimately, I feel like as an artist, you should have some sort of like real goals for yourself like that, like past just the money and success that you want. But like for me, I just, again, the details, like, yeah, I got a #1 record, but I don't have any like real respect. Like, people don't respect me for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But for me, in my case, anytime I meet people, anytime, you know, whether they're high up, whether they're, you know, newcomer, young, older, everybody is always showing love. Everybody's always like, dude, you really do it. Like, you got it, you know? So for me, I've always tried to focus on that, focus on staying on that level. Like, people always able to say like, yo, nah, AM got it. AM is the one. Whether I'm popular at the moment or not, it doesn't matter. I just always want that love. And I think for me, that's always been a goal, to be, you know, respected with, you know, certain names. I'm not trying to be in the group with everybody. I feel like everybody's here and they're trying to get here. And for me, I'm more like, well, there's so much space and there's only a few names over here though. What did they do to get here? And that's what I'm trying to do.
And that's for me, the artist that I appreciate the most.
Yeah. I mean, I think for all of us appreciate that. You know,
because you kind of feel like you have a personal connection with them that nobody else has.
Exactly.
Because they're not with everybody. You know what I mean?
You grow with them. You have more time to see what's special about them. You know. Music is at a very funny place to me right now, just because it's like, it is good. There's a lot of good music out there, but it's just a lot of music. Yeah. And so the more music you have and the more content that's out there, the more, you know, the ratio goes down for how much good music you actually get. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm just continuing to add to that ratio of good music. Yeah,
that's awesome because, you know, there's one thing that our CEO here of BHL and AfterBuzz, he's always has said and was saying that basically, like, you could be this big, you know, household name, but how many people are really loyal to you? Just because everybody knows you doesn't mean everybody.
Not fans today. They're not fans today. Everybody loves everybody. Like, you know, back when I was young, I would always have the biggest battles for whether it was Genuine or Usher. You know what I mean? Real. Like, for real. Like, and it was always be based on who put out what last. Like, but it never went past those two. Eventually, you know, it grew into, like, you know, the JTs or whatever. But Usher and Genuine for years. You know what I mean? It was like, it's Genuine right now because Genuine just put out 100% Genuine. I'm on this forever. Then Usher dropping 8701. Oh man. And then Genuine drop a new one. Oh man. Then that's as far as I was going though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Today, I mean, you won't be able to tell who's who. You know, you got fans like, I'm your number one fan, and they go leave that on about 12, 13 different artist page. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just a different time. So you have to give something that's going to make you memorable. You have to give them something that's going to be impactful. And most of the time, it's relating to them. Yes. People want to be related to. You know what I mean? Like, they want to feel like, they do want that starism. They do want to feel like, man, I need somewhere to look to where I want to be. You know what I mean? He or she is where I want to be.
It's that mystery of, you know, being an enigma to people. People. Yeah, exactly.
You know? And then at the same time, still be like, but I can be, rather than making them feel like I can't. You know what I mean? The more change you got on, the more I feel like, damn, it's gonna be harder for me to get to 12 chains. I only got one. Exactly. You know, no, like, I hear you. It's gonna take forever to get 12 of these things. You know, but when you relate to people, like their days, their feelings, like their lives, their families, like, you know, you make them feel like, wait a minute, I'm not the only one going. How many of us feel like that? Like,
and that's what separates the greats, you know, from everybody else.
Everybody else, because you're thinking about something that's bigger and deeper than yourself.
Something that's not even obtainable, like, you know what I mean? It's abstract. Yeah, something that you like a feeling.
I think most of the ones that are great understand that it's deeper than them and it's not them. Like, it's not really me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I write some good music, I produce some good music, I sing and act, and I do this entertainment thing very well, but it's not because of me. Like, it's when I'm done, someone else will do it even better. You know what I mean? And maybe I sparked them to do that. Maybe it was the honor that I gave the job. Maybe it was the dignity I gave the job, the passion that I gave the job, that turned into them being so huge and inspiring even more people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to understand that it's not us. Like, and that's what I was saying about, you know, believing it and falling into it. Like, you start to think that it's, you know, it's owed to you, you know, but nah, nobody bigger than the game. You know, you're just supposed to play it. You're just supposed to play it. That's it. And then while you playing it, you're supposed to be able to know when you clock out, turn the light off, and leave it off until it's time to play it again. You know what I mean? Like, don't leave it on and then forget you still in the game. You know what I mean? Like, you wake up 10 years down, 20 years down the line, like, damn.
Dang, I should have.
I didn't leave nothing. You know what I mean?
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of leaving the light on in the game and then leaving, we're gonna get into this little hot topic real quick. We're gonna shift.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, okay.
She's retiring.
Okay.
From rap.
Okay.
I'm a little upset.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
It's hype. It's hype.
You think so?
It's hype. How do you retire? How do you retire from music?
That's
How
what
do
I'm
you
saying.
retire? That would mean that you are not recording any more music. That would mean that you're never going to do another show. That would mean, and the way I take it, when you say retire is like my mom retiring. Like, I'm not going back to the office to go.
Not even to say hello.
Do little stuff at all.
No.
I'm done with that place. I don't need to see the garage people. Nothing. I'm done. So I don't believe that that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe she's gonna still do the podcast and everything else,
Queen
and maybe
Radio,
that's big enough. That's cool, but
yeah, when I hear retire, I feel like you're not we're not seeing her in the spotlight.
Listen, Jay-Z said he was gonna retire too.
Yeah, he did.
Hella times, and he still putting out albums. You can't stop. You can't.
Especially if you're a musician, you got like the creativeness that it's spewing.
You can't. I understand. She probably ready to start a family.
You can take a break.
All of that. Yeah, do all of that.
You've taken breaks.
Exactly, and I'm gonna take more breaks. You know what I mean? Like, the more success, the more breaks is gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? But to say that I'm gonna retire, you never retire. Stevie Wonder hasn't retired.
I know.
Like, come on now. These artists, these like legends, still haven't retired. If that's the case, John Legend could have retired by now. Like, it's a lot of artists that could retire, but there is no retirement plan in the music business. There is none. It's just like sports. It's like either you are able to get on this ESPN thing or you're done, son. Or you need to keep playing. You got to figure out something, you know? So I don't know. She might have a plan, but I don't believe it.
Have you ever seen her perform?
I've never seen her perform in person. No.
Me neither.
Yeah, I've never seen her perform in person.
I love Nicki Minaj though. She can't leave me like this.
Yeah, I think she's done too much at this point. Like, you've impacted too many people. You know, it's.
She's over here posting too. Like, I don't even know if I should be mourning. It's like she's posting all her old throwback stuff. Seems like, I don't know.
Again, it's hard for me to say a lot of it just because, you know, I know how the industry is and how it works, and you never know what's real and what's smoke and mirror. You know, you never know what's for a time or what's timeless. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Well, good news for everybody watching is that Adrian Marcel ain't retiring.
I'm not retiring.
Okay?
Yeah, never. I love making music too much. I might retire my voice, you know, to the studio, like, you know, one day, like when I find talent that I feel like, oh man, these songs need to go to you. You need to sing these songs. And we're gonna make sure that, you know, whatever, but you know, that's about it. But that's just me evolving into more of a businessman and a different entity. Yeah. You know, but
and now with all the wisdom and stuff that you've learned, you can help somebody else.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what it should be about. It honestly should be about that. Paying it forward. Like, having all of that success and just living in that it's not enough. You know what I mean? Like, I want to plant seeds in places that aren't home, that, you know what I mean, that can grow. And you know, that's how you never really die. You know, you'll live forever because, you know, you gave other people opportunity. You know, you look at comedians like Martin, you know, or Jamie Foxx and Richard Pryor, you know, and many others who have given more opportunity to more comedians to come. You know, would there be a Kevin Hart had there not been some of those artists? Would there be a this had there not been some of those comedians? You know what I mean? Like,
yes, definitely.
We are supposed to keep. I feel like it's our job, it's our duty, you know, with this blessing that we've been given, to give it back. You know what I mean? We like to hold on. We find gold, you want to hold on to it. You don't want people to know, you know, but it's not gold. It's not real. I feel like this level of success, you can't go further than this human life that we have. You know what I'm saying? But past it, You know, what did you leave when you aren't even here? What is still here of you? You know what I mean? So I feel like that's always been sort of like in the back of my mind, you know, and even more in the front of my mind now. So,
well, you know, we have 3 months left, 2019.
Yeah.
What can we expect to see from Adrian Marcel?
You know, you can expect a lot. We got a tour we're planning right now. We mapping out the 98th tour. You can expect new music.
What are your shows in Oakland like?
My shows in Oakland are, I don't want to be cliche, but they're just so lit. Like every time
they already lit.
When I get there, when I perform in Oakland, like especially any of the shows that I've personally put on, you know, it's like they know what they finna get. You know what I mean? They come ready. They like, here he come. It ain't even like, oh my God. It's like, here he go. He in his bag already. Look at him. Look at him. Look. Ooh. It's like that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a show out. On stage, I'm a show out. Like that's where I don't think. That's where I just act. You know, in the studio I think a lot. In life I think a lot. On stage, listen, especially when I know you know, like when I know you know what I know that you know, you know.
It's all the way up.
It's all the way up.
All the way up.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. Thank you for having
me. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Please let everybody know where they can find you on social media so they can come to these shows and keep up with everything.
Yeah, so, you know, you can, you know, instantly follow me on the gram at Adrian Marcel, Twitter at Adrian Marcel 510. I always say this. There's this little box that you can go into and you type in anything. You can type in how to change a tire. You can type in, you know, how to anything. And you can also type in Adrian Marcel. And I'm telling you, the variety of things that you will get in those boxes. YouTube, Adrian Marcel 510. And just to keep it very simple, if you just go to adrianmarcelmusic.com, you will get everything you need. Tour dates. You just like to look at pics. We got pics up there. You know, videos, interviews, things like this. You know, just any and everything Adrian Marcel is there. You know, be on the lookout if you haven't already. Go stream 98th. Yes. Go stream Slow Burn. Go stream Waiting.
I was to say, Waiting is like literally before
go
you
stream GMFU. Go stream Week After Next, 7 days a week. I mean, go stream it all. But before you stream it all, just make sure you stream 98 like 10 times.
Yes.
And
then go
all
and
night. And then go do the other stuff. And then come
it.
back and stream it again, especially for 98. You know, and then on top of that too, you know, I want people to make sure they know on demand they can still, if they haven't seen the DeBarge film, you know, the Bobby DeBarge movie.
Yes.
It's out. You get to see me in a lace front. You get to see me
them
doing
do
my
the
thing.
hair too on
Did
your
you
Instagram.
See me, you see me flipping it. I ain't even gonna say nothing. Just go do that. And yeah, AdrianMarcelMusic.com.
Yes. Yeah. Waiting is like, that's my song.
Can't stop waiting.
Oh.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do that. It's a whole built-up. We ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that.
You know what? It's okay.
No,
go stream it because you sleep if you haven't. Guys, this is BHL's Next. I'm your host, Rhelin T. I will see you guys next Sunday. Don't forget to follow all things BHL at BHL Online. Bye.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.